A Canadian woman was killed and 6 Americans were among the more than a dozen wounded after a gunman opened fire at Mexico's Teotihuacan pyramids, a popular tourist hotspot. On Monday, authorities said, according to preliminary information, a man fired shots at the archaeological site near Mexico City, killing the Canadian woman before taking his own life, the Mexican Security Cabinet said on X.
And South Korea's Air Force apologized on Thursday for a 2021 mid-air collision involving 2 TIE fighter jets, a day after auditors said pilots were taking selfies and filming during the flight and held them responsible for the accident. And we sincerely apologize to the public for the concern caused by the accident that occurred in 2021. An Air Force spokesman said in a press briefing, adding that one of the pilots involved had been suspended from flying duties and received severe disciplinary action and has since left the military. And Gaza City, Gaza Strip, beside a mountain of destroyed rubble, Samal Dabla lives in a makeshift tent with her children, gripped by a fear that did not exist in their lives before the war. The rats that now invade their shelter, Sama always keeps her children, 3-year-old Mayaseen and 4-year-old Assad, in sight and spends most of her day cleaning in a desperate attempt to discourage the rats, but to no avail. And the firing of US Navy Secretary John Phelan is the latest in a shakeup of the American military during the war on Iran, now in its 8th week. The Pentagon said Phelan would leave office immediately. And government employees in Islamabad will get an extended weekend next month with 3 consecutive holidays expected. Students and private office employees will also get the long weekend. According to the Cabinet Division's official holiday schedule, May 1 has been declared a public holiday on account of Labor Day. And old and used mobile phones imported into Pakistan are about to become more expensive, at least for a few brands, as FBR has updated customs values for these devices. These custom values have increased across the board for Samsung, Apple, Google and OnePlus devices, meaning more PTA tax for each. As for the iPhone 15 series, the previous custom values. And when US President Donald Trump this week attacked Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson and top House Democrat Hakeem Jeffries, 2 of America's most prominent black figures, he chose a particularly pejorative insult, low IQ person. Trump insults people all the time, online, in speeches, in official statements, and directly to the faces of some reporters. And a good actor will go to great lengths to understand their character in order to portray its most accurate version. And Indian actor Yami Gautam is seemingly not one to take shortcuts. In an interview with the BBC Asian Network, the director of a project Hack, Supan Verma, said he had her learn the Holy Quran and understand the Quranic dialect of Arabic for 4 months for her role in the movie.
US Navy Secretary John Phelan is leaving the Trump administration, the Pentagon announced on Wednesday. His departure will be effective immediately, Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell said in a social media post. Navy Undersecretary Hung Sao will serve on an acting basis in the role, which is largely administrative.
And Lebanon's prime minister has accused Israel of war crimes after Israeli airstrikes killed 1 journalist and wounded another in southern Lebanon on Wednesday. The strike killed Amal Khalil, who worked for a Lebanese newspaper, and injured freelance photographer Zainab Faraj. And Pope Leo has urged authorities in Equatorial Guinea not to use the justice system just to punish, but also to protect society after criticizing how prisoners are treated. At a visit to a jail known for its dire conditions, he said true justice seeks not so much to punish as to help rebuild the lives of victims, offenders and communities. And the Zambian government has said it has taken possession of the body of former President Edgar Lungu, who died in South Africa 10 months ago. Against the wishes of the family, it is the latest episode in a row over what should happen to his remains following a long-standing feud between Lungu and his successor, President Hakainde Hichilema.
That. Two trains have collided head-on on a level crossing northwest of Copenhagen, leaving 5 people critically hurt and 12 others with minor injuries, medical officials say. The trains were travelling early on Thursday on a line linking the towns of Hillerød and Kagerup in the North Zealand area of northeast Denmark, with a total of 38 people on board, according to police.
And Islamabad is a city on hold, gripped by the limelight of its own success, host to something potentially historic. But it remains unclear how distant that may be. 5-star hotels in the Pakistani capital have been empty and awaiting diplomatic delegations for a next round of negotiations this week between Iran and the US. Bougie restaurants shuttered their kitchens and their usual well-heeled clientele, unable to make it past army and police checkposts strategically sprinkled at almost every major city intersection.
That Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky admitted the war in Iran has taken the focus away from Russia's aggression against his country, telling CNN it was a big risk to think that efforts to end the fighting in Ukraine can't restart until the conflict in Iran ends. That, speaking to CNN's Christian Amanpour from the presidential office in Kyiv, Zelensky said Wednesday that while technical talks with the United States are still happening, he doesn't see the opportunity to meet until the question that the case of Iran will be closed.
And infantry officer Alexei Mikhailov just spent 343 days without leaving the front line in what his battalion believes is one of the longest combat deployments for an officer in the Ukrainian armed forces. His lengthy deployment in the woodlands between settlements in the eastern Zaporizhia region underscores Ukraine's severe lack of manpower as the war drags on after more than 4 years.
That seriously fractured is how President Donald Trump described the Iranian government when he extended a ceasefire to give it time to come up with a unified proposal. That Iran's failure to show up in Pakistan for a second round of talks with Vice President J.D. Vance showed just how disjointed the leadership had become. The White House argued observers of Iran see things differently. That Iran has insisted that the United States must end its blockade of Iranian ports before talks can resume. And many analysts say the leadership is more cohesive than is being portrayed.
And Lebanon's prime minister has accused Israel of war crimes after an airstrike in the south of the country on Wednesday killed one journalist and seriously wounded another, Amal Khalil, who worked for Lebanon's Al Akbar newspaper and was killed while carrying out her journalistic work. According to Lebanon's national news agency, NNA, she is the 4th media worker slain by Israel in Lebanon since March. And the other journalist was identified by Lebanese authorities as Zainab Faraj, a freelance photojournalist. Al Akbar is a left-leaning pro-Hezbollah newspaper. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 37 points and dished out 9 assists, leading Oklahoma City to a 120-107 home win over the Phoenix Suns and giving the Flat Thunder a 2-0 lead in Flater first-round Western Conference playoff series. The victory on Wednesday, however, might have been a costly one for the hosts. And the consensus World Cup favourite could be in danger of missing its top attacking option after Spanish forward Lamine Yamal sustained an injury while playing for Barcelona on Wednesday in a La Liga match. According to reports, club officials believe Yamal sustained a torn hamstring, though a full prognosis won't be known until he undergoes scans on Thursday.
That Pakistan Railways has completed the upgradation of its reservation office at the headquarters, introducing modern facilities aimed at improving passengers' services and ticketing efficiency. The office has been fully renovated with updated interiors and new furnishings as part of efforts to enhance service delivery. Federal Minister for Railways Hanif Abbasi is expected to inaugurate the upgraded facility in the coming days.
And 2 trains crashed head-on near the Danish capital Copenhagen on Thursday, leaving several people injured. Police and media reports said 17 people were injured, with 4 in critical condition following the collision at Gribskov, about 40 kilometers north of Copenhagen.
That Cursor, an AI code generation startup co-founded by Pakistani-born Sualeh Asif, has secured a $60 billion acquisition deal with Ease on SpaceX, according to multiple reports on Thursday. Along with OpenAI and Anthropic, Cursor is one of several Silicon Valley startups that have drawn waves of developers by using artificial intelligence to automate a business where AI companies have found early commercial traction, according to Reuters.
And Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif on Thursday directed that transport in the country be gradually shifted to electric vehicles. The Premier chaired a meeting on energy security where he stressed that energy security had become an important aspect of the country's overall future planning, according to a statement from the Prime Minister's office, PMO.
That senior Iranian officials have blamed Washington for stalled peace talks, citing the United States naval blockade of the country's ports as a key obstacle as tensions escalate at sea. That, with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps capturing 2 foreign vessels and opening fire on a third. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian said Tehran seeks dialogue and agreement, but that breach of commitments, that blockade and threats are hindering negotiations, while the White House said U.S. President Donald Trump has set no deadline for the ceasefire extension, with White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stressing the timing will be the president's decision. That Tamil Nadu, India, standing on top of a customized van on a hot and humid afternoon in Tirunelveli, about 600 kilometers, 373 miles south of Tamil Nadu's capital Chennai in southern India. That C. Joseph Vijay tells his supporters his opponents have joined hands to stop him from becoming the state chief minister. My rivals might appear different from outside, but they have only one aim, that Vijay should not become the chief minister, says the 51-year-old actor-turned-politician to a mammoth crowd that begins to chant his name, which means victory in Tamil in unison.
And an Israeli airstrike has targeted a group of civilians in northern Gaza, killing at least 5 Palestinians, according to Gaza's civil defense agency. 5 Palestinians, including 3 children, were killed in an Israeli airstrike that targeted a group of civilians near Al-Qassam Mosque in Beit Lahia, local health officials said in a statement late on Wednesday.
That the National Disaster Management Authority, NDMA, has conducted its first large-scale search and rescue simulation exercise to strengthen disaster response and improve coordination among agencies nationwide. The drill took place at the National Emergencies Operations Centre, NEOC, in Islamabad, focusing on building an integrated system to manage emergencies and natural hazards effectively.
And Motorola has launched the Edge 70 Pro as the latest model in its Edge 70 series. The device joins the Edge 70 Fusion introduced in early March and the Edge 70, which debuted late last year. The Motorola Edge 70 Pro features a 6.8-inch AMOLED display with full HD plus resolution. The panel supports a refresh rate of up to 144 Hz and reaches up to 5,200 nits peak brightness. And OnePlus has listed the Watch 4 on its website after the smartwatch recently appeared on the Google Play console. The listing confirms the device's main specifications, design and features. The OnePlus Watch 4 features an all-titanium case and will be available in evergreen titanium and midnight titanium color options.